Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. How you guys doing? I'm Turbo, and we are on One Nation Pub Stomping once again with, Apex, who's going to be getting a balls-deep rushing, newly buffed ASM1 DNA bomb on Hardpoint Horizon. Now, personally, I'm not really a big fan of Horizon. It's fun on War, but since I'm mainly like an S&D player, it's kind of hard to rush because, people tend to rush towards the middle area where the big plane jet thingy is. And it's really easy to pick people off, and my aim just is not good enough to win those gunfights. So that's why I try to avoid Horizon while I'm playing Search and Destroy. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about today is sports. What sports I consider to be actual fucking sports, and what sports I think are hard, and what sports I don't consider to be sports. So let's get into it. Now, a little background on me. I'm American. I've played a fuck ton of sports. My favorite one is football. And that's basically all you need to know about me. If you're wondering what position I play in football, I play fullback and defensive end, and I've played on varsity as a sophomore and JV as a sophomore. So that's basically it. But, there was a little bitching incident at my school a couple weeks ago on an app known as Yik Yak. And Yik Yak is basically this app where you can comment anonymous things. And the cheerleaders were bitching about how no one came to their competition on a school night. And we had to explain to them that cheerleading was not a sport to us. Now, if you think cheerleading is a sport, I will admit that it is athletic. You have to be in shape and you have to be fit to do it, but you don't have to be that strong to throw a 95-pound girl up in the air and catch her. I will admit that you have to be athletic to do those tumblings, those cartwheels and backflips and stuff. But I still don't really consider it a sport. It's more of like a hobby. I mean, you can just tell things are sport. Like, tennis is a sport. Soccer is a sport. Swimming is a sport. Water polo is a sport. NASCAR is not a fucking sport. Pat, I'm talking right at you, Pat. Also, Pat said I'm not allowed to talk about the KKK in this commentary. So sorry, KKK. I can't give you guys a free shout out like the last commentary. Sorry. So anyway. Some sports I don't really consider to be sports, are gymnastics. Dancing, I don't really consider a sport. It's more of a hobby, once again, just like NASCAR. Anything that involves animals is not a sport. Racing horses at the racetrack, that's not a sport. It's like NASCAR. It's a thing you watch. Track, I consider a sport, but barely. I mean, you can run in a straight line. Congratulations. It's not that hard to do. I will admit that, that you have to be in shape for some of the longer events, like the 800 and the mile. But, running in a straight line or around the track, it's not that hard to do. Now, there are certain events on track and field, hint, hint, and field, that are very difficult, such as the pole vault, discus, which is very difficult. I'm actually going to do pole vault because my football coach suggested it to me this year. So I'm going to try out for pole vault because the coach that coaches pole vault is also one of the football coaches, so we'll see how I do on that. And discus is one of them. I did discus in middle school. My personal best was 97 feet. And the disc weighed about 8 pounds, I think. And I also did shot put, which my best for that was about 40 feet in middle school. And the shot puts in middle school don't weigh as much as the ones in high school. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'm not really going to do many throwing events in high school because, the people who do those get 50 feet and 100 plus on the discus. And it's just really crazy for that. But some sports I do consider sports is it's hard to explain what a sport is. It's kind of like a team thing, but not exactly. Wrestling is a one-on-one sport. And, sure, it's a team thing, and you accumulate points for it. And also, I have wrestled, okay? It's probably one of the hardest sports that I've ever done, wrestling by far. Some really hard sports that I think are sports. Boxing, I believe, is a sport. MMA, fighting, I believe those are sports because they're just really hard to do and they're really grueling on your body. And gymnastics is kind of grueling, but I don't really consider gymnastics a sport because it's just not there yet. It's not as old as other sports. But tell me down in the comments what you guys think are sports and aren't sports, and tell me what sports you do play. I've been Turbo. This is Apex. Peace.